great players, they have a great organization, and you tell them one thing,
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Las Vegas Raiders disappointed on the national spotlight, and the Raiders fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers and are now 1-2 on the regular season, and things aren't looking good for the Raiders at the moment. It also doesn't help the fact that the only team we have beat thus far has been the Denver Broncos, who look like a terrible football team, a team who just got 70 points put up on them. And the Raiders barely managed to get the victory over them. So, like I said, things aren't really looking very good right now. The last two losses for the Raiders, there's no doubt you have to look at the offensive side of the football, because the production we have been getting on offense has been unacceptable. Really, the only one who has been putting in work the last two games has been our star wide receiver Davante Adams. But besides that, this offense has not lived up to its hype, to its potential, and they've only been able to put up 10 points last week against Buffalo and 18 points last night. And that's a huge problem for the Las Vegas Raiders, because I still think the identity and the strength of this team should be on the offensive side of the football. Just think of all the weapons and the investments we have made on the offense. You spend big money on a top wide receiver in Davante Adams. You trade draft capital for him. You paid $11 million for Jacoby Myers. You have Hunter Renfrow, who's getting paid about $13 million. We invested an early second round pick on tight end Michael Mayer, who really has been non-existent for us. And really the biggest disappointment thus far has been that we have a head coach who is supposed to be known as an offensive guru, and it doesn't make sense that you go out and get all these weapons and you have an offensive-minded head coach and you can't put over 20 points on the board. As I mentioned, it is unacceptable. Also, the Raiders offense still has a non-existent running attack. Last night, Josh Jacobs ran for 60 yards on 19 attempts, which is an average about 3.5, 3.6 yards per carry. Look, that's not good enough, and really the numbers were a little bit worse than what they showed right now, because a lot of Jacobs' better runs on the night were when we were down big late in the second half, and the Steelers played more of a prevent style defense. But early on in the game, when we need to run the ball to establish a rhythm and an identity on offense, once again we were shut down in the run game, getting 1 to 2 yards per carry. And really another alarming fact is that it's already 3 games into the regular season, and we went against one of the worst teams when it comes to stopping the run. So really, if the Raiders weren't able to get it done versus the Steelers, then it's starting to make me wonder, will we ever be able to run the ball this year? Jimmy Garoppolo too did not play great last night, and he did not play well against the Buffalo Bills either. He made some head-scratching moves, some dumb turnovers. But look, I will say I'm not shocked about how Jimmy Garoppolo has looked the last 2 weeks, because in my opinion, Jimmy Garoppolo is really not a quarterback who was built to drop back and throw the ball 40 plus times like he did last game. To me, Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager quarterback. He's not a quarterback who can win you games single-handedly with his arm, and that's what you saw in last night's game. And most importantly too, the play calling and key moments of the game have been absolutely atrocious from the head coach Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels chose to kick a field goal with under 3 minutes left in the ball game when the Raiders were down 8 points and the Raiders were already in the red zone. I think they're at the 15-yard line. Look, in those certain situations, you have to be aggressive in the National Football League if you want to win. Touchdowns are what win you ball games, not field goals. And McDaniels showed last night that he was unwilling to do that, to be aggressive in the most crucial instances of the ball game, and that's a big problem for me. Look, you got to look back on that scenario too. You're gonna need a touchdown no matter what. So look, why not trust your offense and your playmakers and try to get the touchdown right then and there when you're already in the red zone? As I mentioned, it's mind-boggling. I can't believe he went out and did that, especially since the defense hasn't really been the main strength of our team. Overall, the defense last night looked pretty good. If you had more time in the game, maybe you just kick the field goal and try to see if your defense can make a stop and get you the ball back. But with under 2 minutes left in the game, you kick a field goal, you risk the possibility of not even getting the ball back. And that's essentially what happened with the Raiders too, because We did ultimately get the ball back, but we had the ball with like 13 seconds left in the game and like backed up in our own 10-yard line. So essentially there was like zero chance we were going to get anything done in that scenario. So essentially Josh McDaniels, in my opinion, he threw in the towel last night by kicking a field goal in that situation, and it's just unacceptable for me. In the last 2 games, you have to put the blame on head coach Josh McDaniels because he is the one who controls the offense. And like I said, the offense has looked absolutely atrocious out there. Now look, I don't think you should fire Josh McDaniels right then and now. A lot of people are coming after his head. The pitchforks are completely out for Josh McDaniels, and look, it's understandable. People should be frustrated with Josh McDaniels. We do have to put the pressure on him to turn things around. But really, if you fire Josh McDaniels, I mean, what other options are there going to be at the head coaching position? Really, the only way I could see him getting fired this year is if things continue to get worse, which is crazy to think about, but look, I guess that's always a possibility. Really, the way I'm looking at the Raiders head coaching position is, look, I'm going to give Josh McDaniels the rest of the year. Let's see what he can do at the end of the year. What's the final product we get this year? But I will say, if the Raiders do not have an improvement upon last season, then I think Mark Davis should really consider moving on from head coach Josh McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler, especially since this offseason would be a perfect and an ideal time to change a coach and a general manager, just because in the NFL draft this year it's absolutely loaded with good quarterback options. The Raiders are also going to have a lot of cap space next year in 2024. So look, if you want to go in a different direction, this offseason would be the perfect time to do so. But as I said, I don't want to talk too much about Josh McDaniels getting fired because I think he's going to be here for the remainder of the year. And after that, that's where I think we really got to make the decision to either move on from him or keep him. Ideally, I mean, if things continue the way they are, then I would want us to fire Josh McDaniels just because things have not been looking good. You can't bring a head coach out there that in back-to-back years has failed. Just what kind of message are you sending to your fan base if you do that? But I will say it's still a long season for the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't want to say the season's over just yet, but there's no doubt that head coach Josh McDaniels has got to turn things around. He has to find a way to turn this ship around, and he has to do it fast because we're playing the divisional rival, the LA Chargers, next week. And really, this team, we cannot afford to get off to such a slow start like we did last season and expect to go anywhere far this season. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think the future will be for Josh McDaniels? Will he make it into next season? Let me know down below. But with that being said, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.